Hey everyone, welcome back to Evony with Genghis. So, want to talk about something that a lot of people ask about and a lot of people don't like to give the answer to because it's changed over time and it's still sort of, I wouldn't say a secret, but if you're not at playing at the elite level and you're just kind of asking about it, you probably wouldn't even think about what it is and why. So, talking about the T13 Solo Siege March. Actually, it used to be called the T13, and that was just Big Siege. Difference used to be T11, you'd send T11s, that would generally only be rallies. T13 would be rallies or solos, but solos kind of came later, and it used to just be that you would just, have 1,000 everything or whatever your layers are, 2,000, and then just max out T13. So if you got 5 million march size, you're sending about 4.95 million T13s. That's not the case anymore. It's changed because people have basically figured out a way to exploit low-level troops in a city, low siege, because of the range. So first, I'm just going to show you this, and then we'll get into what actually goes into the march and why and what to look for. So if you're playing SVS and you're kind of about 10 billion or less, maybe 11 billion or less, especially if you're K40 or less, you're just going to get siege blinded. Like that's just how it is. 99% of players who are about 6.5 billion to 11 billion are just going to have enough siege that a siege solo is going to come out positive. So this is kind of something that I would see in Battlefield or in SVS. I'd see 8.6 and I'd just say, yep, I'm going to hit this guy. Not going to scout, not going to do anything. Why? Because I'm risking 500 million power, 600 million power, but realistically, I know I'm going to come out good. I'm going to get, in this case, 730. That's like a mediocre result. Usually I'll come away with over 1 billion. But I didn't want to dig through all my reports to find it. And take a look at this. This is with 20 million reinforcements. So we'll look at the reinforcements. If I recall correctly, there was limited or no siege. So I thought yeah, okay. So we'll see what this guy had for siege. So he had right there, T14, 4.5 million, T13, 4 million. T12, almost 5 million. And then the rest doesn't really matter. T11's 10. And if we look at the reinforcements, Elise, Aurelian, and the final one was Solt and Suchit. So yeah, he had no siege reigns. So I knew that his reinforcements basically wouldn't even engage. So there was no threat. And if you look at that, they basically don't engage. I don't hit them really at all because none of them are siege. So 20,000 of them die and the rest are fine. And we can look at the buffs just to see. Like his siege defense buffs aren't that bad. They're okay. But, the thing is you just can't compete against those big siege marches. So now let's look at why it works. So if we look at the range of siege, I'll go fast because most people would know this no matter what. So T15 are going to have a range of 2178. You can see it right there. And they actually have a speed of 76. And to be honest, I haven't heard that explained in a manner that makes sense or matters. So 2178, except for defense. But for offense, I don't really see how it matters too much. So now we start to see that they go down in range, 1867, 1867, 1711. They go down every couple. But the big one here is when it goes from Siege 5, 1556, to 4, 1400. And 1 is also at 1400. So these 4 are going to get crushed by siege solos. So if you see someone who has a lot of T1 to 4, they are a perfect siege solo result or a big siege solo result target. Also, for me personally, if I see a lot of 13s, I just won't send. And by a lot, I mean like if the guy's 15 million plus, 20 million plus, I'm just not going to siege solo him. I just don't think I'm really going to break through. I think that at best I'm going to come out a tie. Even if he has bad siege buffs, it's going to be hard to come out doing very well on it in a solo. Now, if we could get him to sit for a rally, I'd absolutely send it. Now, let's look at what goes into the Big Siege. So if you have T16s, you're probably not listening to this video. If you have T15, which a lot of players have now, you should have 5% of your march should be T15s. T14, 10% of your march. T13, half your march, whereas before it was like 99%. And T12, 35%. And then if you look at the T16, they also have T12 at 25%. And T14 march, what that means is if T14 is your biggest troop. If you don't have T15, look at the T14 march here. If you have T13, no T14, don't be doing siege solos. Just, you're either not good enough, not strong enough to be able to do it, or you're early on in a server where it's just really not going to be worth it to you because no one's going to have enough siege for you to kill, and you're probably just better off doing archer solos or ground solos. So, but if T14 is your biggest, 10%, 60%, 30%. We're going to come back to this. So why do you want to include T12s? That forever was something that no one ever did, no one ever thought of. And then basically it is because, so the T12 range is 1867, and the thought is that will force them to move up far enough to kill all the T1 to 4 while staying out of range of them. So that's basically why you send T12, so that they can kill these smaller troops. Let's get back to what we're talking about here. So let's look at this. So I'm going to pretend I have a 5 million march. Actually, you know what? Let's just go with 5.7. 5.7. And I have T15s, so I should be using 5%, 0.05. So 285,000. So we would go into here and we would write 285,000. And then I would have 10% of T14s. Now, I don't have to calculate that because I did pass grade 6 math. So that would just be 570,000. So let's put that in there, and it's 570. And then we would go up to the T13s, and it would be half of the march. And once again, I should be able to do this in my head. So it would be 2.5 million plus 350, which is 2.85, and half of that, so 2.85 would be 35% for the T12s, and that one we're definitely going to use a calculator on that one, and it gives us basically 2,010,000. So let's type that in there, 2 million, and I'm just going to put 2 million actually. And there's basically my march, and then I would fill everything in with whatever my layers are. I might have to subtract like 50,000 from somewhere to fill them all into whatever I want. And that's basically it. Every other siege is just the same as all the layers. So if you have 1,000 of everything, that's what you would fill it in as. And that's how the march works. That's how it's effective. Now, how do you defend against it? Basically, don't have siege. So, or hide your siege. If you have a small amount of siege, like you're like 8 billion, you sit with your team, you join rallies, I probably wouldn't be ready to join siege rallies. I'd probably just be like, you know what? I'm going to keep like one march of siege just to join T11 rallies once in a while. But I wouldn't have a big amount of 13 and 14s because they're not going to help you anyways. And you're only going to get hit with siege solos, or people are going to ground, archer, or horse rally you in one shot. So I don't think having those siege really help you at all. But anyways, that's what the march is. And let me know if you use something similar. Like, subscribe, leave a comment.